you doing, all you beautiful sons of bitches? It's your boy Backseater, and today we've got another fucking shill that I haven't talked about yet, but I know he's been here, but yet another shill who's about to get his ass ripped open by me. Motherfucking Simon Davies, or as most people call him, Simon Rabies, because he sucks. Like, the minute this guy shows up, you just want him fucking gone. But whatever. So, what exactly... Fuck. He's giving me his rabies. Shit. So either way, what is Simon yapping about this week? The Force Awakens was almost the perfect film to start the sequels. No, it fucking wasn't. It was trash. Like the rest of the sequels. Like the rest of Disney's Star Wars. That you shill for, Simon. Well, let's just get it underway, shall we?
A decade ago, we were all universally hyped for the first installment of the sequel trilogy.
Oh, how foolish you all were.
The Force Awakens. 10 years had passed since the end of the prequels, and for many years it seemed that George Lucas had no intentions of making an Episode 7 that fans had so desperately craved.
Well, I mean, yes, he wasn't, well, no, he straight up said he wasn't going to. There are interviews where he said, yeah, I wanted a nonology, but 6 was enough for me. He just wanted a hexology. That was it. And seriously, Simon, if you wanted an Episode 7, 8, 9, read the goddamn EU. That's where it is. You fucking idiot.
We wanted to know what happened to our heroes in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi.
Read the EU. That's where you're supposed to figure it out. Moron.
Was the war over and the galaxy returned to a peaceful republic?
I don't know. Read the EU.
Did Luke re-establish the Jedi Order?
Yes! Go read the EU that tells you that!
Did Malakili ever get over the death of his beloved Rancor Patisse?
Who cares?
Actually, just a quick note on this. He's actually a really badass character. He actually went out into the desert and tried to tame the Sarlacc instead. And it didn't quite work out, so he went to Freetown and ended up working for Cobb Vanth. So, you know, all's well that ends well. And
what? You know what? I don't care.
Hope was restored in 2012 when...
No. No. Hope was not restored here. Hope died here.
Disney purchased Lucasfilm and announced that they would be making 3 sequel films. The first set to release in 2015 that would be helmed by J.J. Abrams and written by Michael Arndt, who was supposed to also write treatments for episodes 8 and 9 as well. Unfortunately, Arndt was dropped from the production in October 2013 after his request for more time to write the story was rejected. So Lawrence Kasdan, who
sounds like he dodged a fucking bullet, and oh god, Lawrence Kasdan, here we go.
Empire Strikes Back, was brought on board to replace Arndt alongside Abrams himself.
Lawrence Kasdan is a fucking hack, by the way. Do not fucking take his word at face value. No, not at all.
And together, the two set about constructing what would begin the new era of Star Wars stories. And at this point, we'd had 3 years to speculate on the plot, and with each casting announcement, the excitement was only building higher and higher. This was a time when both the best and worst elements of the Star Wars online community was thriving.
Oh, really?
You had forums packed with excited fans who would speculate on every shred of information they could come across, but you also had the original clickbait merchants who would lie and exaggerate anything they could to garner views for money.
Hang on, Simon. I get what you're saying here, and it's bullshit, but most of these are fucking Last Jedi shit. You seriously couldn't find any fucking videos that, like, apply that what you're saying applies to Force Awakens. So right here, I'm calling bullshit on what you're saying.
But in November 2014, we got the first piece of footage with the teaser trailer that gave us some brief glimpses into the upcoming film. Now, principal photography had only ended a few weeks earlier, so there wasn't a great deal of footage to use for the teaser, and what was there was fairly rough, and most of it never actually made it into the final cut of the film. Star Wars Celebration in April gave us the first full trailer, which opened with the legendary Force theme and ended with our first look at Han Solo and Chewbacca, looking older but still iconic. For me, the next 8 months were a torturous wait for the film's release. It was a fantastic mix of anticipation and excitement alongside the impatience for December to roll around. It was truly a time that I don't think will ever be replicated. After the final trailer was released in October, we made it to
Simon,
release week,
we know,
and
get
boy,
on with
did this
it.
film explode at the box office, raking in over $2 billion and at the time making it the third highest grossing film in history.
Totally unearned in hindsight.
Initial critical reaction was massively positive.
Yeah, of course. It's like, oh my god. It's like I mentioned this in my previous video. Go watch that. But basically, the reason why it was reviewed as well as it was is because people were just so fucking hungry for some sort of big ass movie. And again, I don't think the sequel trilogy was necessary. There were already books and comics and games set after Return of the Jedi that showed it all, which Simon doesn't seem to know about because he's a fake fan. But it's like the reason why is because all the fucking casual ass normies were just hungry for some new movie and they'll take anything. It's like, like when you're a starving man, every crumb is a feast. You know what I'm saying? Or in this case, burnt crumb. Anyway.
And it's only been over time that fans have become more lukewarm on the film. Personally, it's my favourite of the sequels.
You're still an idiot. If you like any of the sequels, you're an idiot.
And in my opinion, it was so very nearly the perfect opening installment to the trilogy.
Really?
So I want to dissect this movie with 10 years of...
Now, Simon, you better be careful when you say it was nearly perfect, because that's not good enough. It has to be perfect, or else Disney won't give you fucking access. The swagman won't send you fucking gifts, my guy.
Hindsight. Look back at what should have been done better, but also recognise what was done really well. The film starts off really strong. The creeping Star Destroyer silhouette, paired with the atmospheric nighttime desert, really creates a fantastic setting for the opening battle, and it is a brutal one. Straight away, you're shown how effective and destructive the First Order forces are,
aka the Virgin Fell Empire,
as they mow down villagers one by one, whilst also taking heavy casualties themselves. We're given clear insight into the psyche of Finn as he watches a companion die, and this helps to establish his arc going forward. His hesitancy to comply amidst others executing innocent civilians really puts his morality front and centre. The gritty, realistic...
Yeah, there's no fucking reason why I even should have this fucking morality. Like, we're giving nothing on it. It's like... He just does because he's the main. He's a good guy. Fucking bullshit.
Realistic feel of the opening carries on throughout the film. One of the big downfalls of the prequels is that the world didn't feel as lived in as the original trilogy.
Are you kidding me? What the fuck? Are you... Bruh, you're showing Dexter Jettster's diner right now. How does that not feel lived in? You fucking idiot.
And the CGI hasn't quite held up to...
Oh, yeah, of course. CGI bad. Only go with practical effects. Zappa-dappa-da. He's one of them motherfuckers, huh? Core. Oh, my God. I'd rather have this. I'd rather have fucking basilisks like Dexter here than whatever fucking gross-ass tumor aliens they had on fucking Cantabite. That's for damn sure. And honestly, the CGI has aged well. It is not fucking crap.
to today's standards. So a return to practical effects and the industrialized nature of the look of the worlds was a massive positive.
Yeah. Of course. He's one of them motherfucker. All right, Simon, let me ask you this. Why do you think the fucking prequel CGI is bad? Why do you think practical effects are so damn necessary? And what the hell... And seriously, because Simon, there's a lot of fucking shit in the prequels that just could not be done with practical effects. Like Mustafar. Do you really think that ILM had the fucking budget to make a fucking lava set? Or do you really think it was safe enough to go to an actual fucking volcano to make Mustafar? Of course not. Alright? And again, I've said before, if you think the fucking CGI in the prequels aged poorly, you're a fucking idiot.
The next 20 minutes focuses on the introductions of the new characters. We'd already met Finn, but we do get some more tidbits of his crisis of conscience. We get an insight into Poe's defiant and rebellious nature. Kylo is shown to be a brutal villain in the midst of a power struggle between himself and Hux. And we meet Rey as a bright-eyed and hopeful young scavenger who dreams of leaving the depressing desert world of Jakku. So we get off to a really strong start. We have characters that are all unique, have clear personalities and motivations. The stakes are set pretty clearly, and we've been given some well-paced and exciting action scenes.
So what? So fucking what, Simon? This is just what we expect of Star Wars. It's good that it meets the qualifications, but just spelling your name on the test doesn't give you extra credit. Ugh.
It's interesting to note here that at this point in the film, Poe Dameron was originally supposed to be killed in the escape from the Star Destroyer when his and Finn's TIE fighter crashes down onto Jakku. It was only after reading the script that Oscar Isaac pleaded with J.J. Abrams to keep him alive, and I'm really glad that they did because Poe is one of the more interesting characters in the trilogy.
Sure he is. Also, I might be getting the story wrong, but I'm pretty sure the actual fucking reason was because J.J. Abrams liked Oscar Isaac enough and decided to make him a main character, which really fucking should not have been the case, because now, for the next fucking 2 films, Poe gets fucking table scraps when it comes to fucking shit to do in these films.
Once the heroes escape from Jakku, things calm down a little. I really like the chemistry between Rey and Finn, and unlike later installments, I feel like the humour that we get here is actually really well balanced and funny. And I really love how they set up Kylo to be so petulant and prone to temper tantrums. You start to realise as the film goes on that he's not actually as experienced and in control as you thought at the beginning when he's introduced. It's a unique perspective for a villain, and frankly, it's refreshing. We've had plenty of wise and...
Fucking Simon, you do realise that we had villains like that in the old EU, yes? Yes, it's like it wasn't just stoic Sith Lords and stoic Imperials. You do realize that, right? Fucking idiot.
Powerful Dark Lords, but never a youngster who is on the verge of breaking down because of all the pressure that's on his shoulders.
Yeah, great fucking idea for a villain. A whiny little asshat. Fucking great. Yeah, Disney was cooking when they made this shit.
Han and Chewie's introduction is utilised really well. It allows us to experience some nostalgic and emotional moments.
Member berries!
And frankly, I just adore the fact that Han isn't some wizened old man who grew up and became sensible. He's just as lost and roguish as he was in his prime.
Because screw character development, am I right?
This is where the story really starts to pick up pace, and the overall stakes are set. There is a war looming, Luke Skywalker needs to be found, there's been some kind of traumatic event that has gone on through the last 30 years, but he is still the galaxy's best hope for peace. I honestly don't mind Luke's backstory post-Return of the Jedi, and like Han, it shows that he isn't some godlike being who is immune to making mistakes, but his story...
We never said he should be. I mean, Luke has made mistakes in the old EU, like particularly regarding the fucking Exar Kun bullshit on Yavin 4, for example. Alright, it's like... My God, my guy, do you even know about any of the shit you're talking about?
Post The Force Awakens wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. The scene with the Raftar chase is a little odd, but it's fun enough, and it is just a way of getting all of the characters to journey together and push the plot forward into Act 2. At this point, we get our first glimpse at Starkiller Base, and for me, this is the biggest element that really brings the film down.
Oh, really?
I don't mind the idea of another superweapon, but it's a rushed concept. It's introduced with little background explanation, it's just there, ready to fire and be the bigger, badder version of the Death Star.
Yeah, it also got its name ripped off of fucking Galen Marek, a way better concept and character.
At least in A New Hope, they explain that the Death Star was a tool to keep systems in line so they could abolish the Imperial Senate. And with that film initially being a standalone as opposed to the opening of a trilogy, it worked well for that purpose. Snoke is fine here. I like how intimidating his huge hologram is, and I guess you need a big bad in the background, keeping Kylo on his toes, and at that point in time, a lot of people had fun speculating on who he really was and envisioned a big showdown between him and Luke fighting alongside Rey and Kylo, but that just never came to be.
Fucking idiots.
Takodana serves to give the audience time to breathe and just dump some story exposition. It helps give Finn a push in the right direction and really helps to establish the bond between the characters. Maz is a quirky but fun character who doesn't...
No, she isn't. She's a big fucking nothing burger.
...need to be anything more than a vehicle just to push the
I'm
other
speeding
characters
this up,
forward.
guys.
And Maz having Anakin's lightsaber always felt like an odd choice to me. It's another downfall of the movie and something that's...
Well, at least he recognizes how stupid that shit was.
This very day still hasn't been explained. If she had had his Return of the Jedi lightsaber, that would have made far more sense. And even though it's a small detail, it still bugs me and kind of exemplifies the sequel's issues with consistent storytelling and the inability to let go of nostalgia in favour of building new iconic things.
Well, at least he recognizes that, but then why the fuck were you praising it for even, ooh, it gives me that nostalgic feeling earlier? Pick one or the other, motherfucker.
We see Starkiller firing and destroying the Republic capital, and another element that really drags this film down, and really the entire trilogy down, is the lack of any kind of world building. We've got no clue what's been going on with the Republic, and we're not really sure why destroying the capital is such a devastating blow.
Yes, Simon, yes, keep criticizing Disney Star Wars. You'll get there eventually, my good fellow. Join us in the Gatekeepers Alliance!
That large should be able to survive something like that. There are mentions made of the Resistance throughout the film, but it's not really clear how they differ from the Republic itself. Sure, it's expanded on afterwards in novels and shows, but it's just not a very effective way of saying...
Oh! So you know that Star Wars has other novels and whatnot, right? Then why are you acting like we don't know what happened to all the characters after episode 6 earlier? Dumbass!
The scene when you watch this film as a standalone. Now, I can't fault the action that comes afterwards, though. I've not mentioned the soundtrack so far, but John Williams once again is on point with this film, and in particular enhances this scene, the Battle of Takodana, with the Rise of the Resistance theme. We get the iconic traitor scene, which once again highlights Finn's...
The soundtrack was so fucking boring in all three of these movies. It was basically just J.J. Abrams telling him, John motherfucking Williams, one of the greatest film composers of all time, I want you to restrict yourself and make the score so similar to what you made fucking like 40, 50 years, I forgot. It's not that fucking long ago. God.
Choice to turn his back on his old life. It also establishes that he's quite handy with a melee weapon, something that will come in handy later down the line for his fight with Kylo. We get the introduction of Leia, and she really doesn't have a great deal to do in this film, which is fine if their plans for her later down the line had really come to fruition. This was supposed to be the film that Han Solo had the biggest hand in, but it was still really nice to see them back together, if only for a short time.
Back together? They're fucking divorced, you idiot!
And it would be the best that we would get, because there would never be a reunion of all three of the original trilogy characters on screen in the sequels.
Yes, and that's why it sucks! Come on, Simon, you're getting closer to realizing that these films suck! That Disney Star Wars sucks! Keep thinking that it sucks!
Act 2 ends with Kylo and Rey interacting, and I really like the chemistry again. They really did a good job building these.
No, come on, Simon! You were this close! Don't go back to praising it! Come on!
New characters into the story. Kylo, again, fails to achieve his goal of getting the map to Luke. I know people have an issue here with Rey suddenly being able to use Jedi mind tricks, but honestly, is it really that different to Luke being able to suddenly use the Force to guide a torpedo?
For fuck's sake! That's not even the same thing, you fucking retard!
Into the exhaust port on the Death Star.
Like, it's like, hey, fucking trooper guy in the back, open the door and let me free, versus using the Force to know exactly when to call the shot. That's it!
So it's just a little less subtle. Act 3 begins with Rey's escape and another fantastic Kylo Ren temper tantrum. We get hot.
Okay, why is the fact that he's a little bitch who can't look? I get that he's a Sith or whatever the hell. Or Dark Jedi, whatever. I get that he's one of them. They're all about just using your emotions. It's like, just get angry, lash out. I get that. But why the hell is it so damn great when the main villain is just this pissy little bitch who just has to destroy shit every time he stubs his toe or whatever the hell?
On Finn and Chewie leaving to rescue.
It's like, yo, motherfucker, you just bumped into me. It's like, who wants a fucking villain that fucking neurotic and shit?
Rey, and this is the point where you start to really see the similarities to A New Hope come together. Even the remark about Starkiller being another Death Star is pretty on the nose. And we find ourselves with another Battle of Yavin, just with some additional stakes thrown in. It's at this point the story remembers that Captain Phasma is in this film, and really, she is such a wasted character. She did have scenes cut as she was supposed to be in the Battle of Takodana, but they really do nothing to help establish her as an imposing leader within the First Order. Even the scene where she lowers the shields had elements cut out. Chewie was crushing her helmet to coerce her into doing it, rather than, as it appears, her just doing it with little to no intimidation. After the rescue of Rey, we get the showdown between Han and Kylo, and this is probably the best acting that we've seen so far.
Phasma's just a nothing burger kicker, and really the best acting? Really?
Adam Driver does an amazing job portraying the broken Ben Solo and lulling you into thinking that he might...
AKA Temu Darth Kaitis.
Turn back to the light. The cinematography is great here too. The light of the sun dwindling as it becomes evidence that Kylo has no intention of turning to the light, and then the fierce red taking over to signal his and Han's downfall. Now, it was clear from the outset that Harrison Ford was only ever going to come back for the one film, so any grumbles about original characters being killed off can't really go against the film itself. I think...
Yes, we can. It's not what you fucking did. It's just how you fucking did it. It's like they could have had him fly off, never to be seen again, but fuck it, whatever. And even then, it's all like, oh my god, this is so stupid.
Han's story was really well told. His death was treated with respect, and Ford did a
yeah, being stabbed to death by his son. That's real respectful.
Good job recapturing the spirit of the character. The preceding lightsaber fight in the snowy forest is perhaps second only to the lightsaber fight in the throne room for me. It is so intense and atmospheric, and
the fucking throne room fight is your favorite fight, really? The fight with a disappearing knife. Are you shitting me? God, you're an idiot.
Mix of the heavy action of the original trilogy saber fights, mixed in with a bit of flair of the prequel style. Now,
heavy action of the original trilogy? What the hell are you smoking? The OT doesn't have good saber fights aside from the Death Star 2 throne room fight. The hell are you on about?
No character is made to look too weak. Finn holds his own as long as he can before he's defeated by Kylo, and Rey is only able to win because of Kylo's injuries and exhaustion. The battle that's going on above them with Black Squadron is, again, a little bit on the sideline.
The hell? Sorry guys, my fucking recording software glitched for a minute. Anyway,
It is fun, but it's nothing special. Not in the way that the Battle of Yavin was in A New Hope. And I was a little disappointed with the fact that we just got a simple case of TIE fighters versus X-Wings. In any new era, I always look for new ships and new designs, but
well, that's what you get with fucking Disney Star Wars. They can't come up with anything original, so they just recycle shit endlessly.
for almost the entirety of the sequels, they are just reimagined versions of the original trilogy fighters, more or less. Starkiller Base is destroyed, and again, this kind of feels like a waste. The film and the story would have been better served had this weapon not actually been complete in this film, and then it was damaged at the very end, and at least that way it could survive into the preceding films and be a looming threat as the trilogy progresses. But as we know, there was no overall grand...
So you just want the fucking First Order just keep this massive ass planet they turned into a basic bitch Death Star around and like not fucking use it? You fucking idiot! Of course they'll fucking use it.
and plan for the sequel stories. The final scene with Rey finding Luke is good. I really like the Jedi Steps theme, and Skellig Michael is a great location. I was disappointed that we only got to see Luke for 30 seconds and that he had no lines of dialogue. I feel like maybe taking a few more moments here would have aided the setup for the next film, and made the eventual ending feel a bit less jarring. We've never actually had a Star Wars film end in such an unresolved way before, and I guess it's another symptom of having no grand plan. I remember leaving the cinema feeling ecstatic with what I'd seen, and even now, I still think this is a great film. Sure, it follows the beats of A New Hope a bit too close for comfort, but it did
no, it follows it almost exactly.
Needed to do. It was a much-needed reset. Some fans might not realize...
No, it wasn't. No, it fucking wasn't. Get out of here with this maximum creative freedom bullshit.
And others might have forgotten, but the prequels were not universally loved. A lot of fans hated them, and their trust...
Yeah, those fans were idiots. Fake fans.
And George Lucas had been massively shaken. So The Force Awakens needed to go back to basics. It just needed to be a good starting point.
No.
A decent film.
No.
The fans could enjoy, and I think it did that. It established new and interesting characters.
No.
It had an amazing John Williams soundtrack.
No.
It gave us a hopeful start to the sequel trilogy, and it felt like Star Wars. One of the biggest complaints I hear today is that Disney Star Wars doesn't feel like George Lucas's Star Wars, but there was no one saying that when The Force Awakens came out. And there were many things that could have been done better, of course. The severe lack of any kind of background politics or world building left a lot of questions to be answered by writers who had no interest in carrying on the theme and plot of The Force Awakens, and this is the primary reason why the sequels feel like 3 individual films rather than a connected trilogy. The fan service was perhaps a little too on the nose for some, and the repetitive nature of the whole Rebels versus Empire story meant that it struggled to break away from the shadow of the original trilogy, and the sin of not reuniting our 3 original characters, knowing that Han would be getting killed off, was a massive mistake. Overall, though, I think that Rian Johnson was given a really good story to carry on with. Safe to say, he took it in about as different a direction as you could have imagined. The Last Jedi was the film that really started to divide opinions in the fan base, and I think that because of that, fans are a little too harsh on The Force Awakens itself. On its own, it wasn't...
No, Simon, people aren't harsh enough on The Force Awakens, you fucking idiot.
Perfect, but I think it was a really fun Star Wars movie.
Wrong. God, you're an idiot. God, you're a fucking tool, my God, man. Ugh. Why the fuck do motherfuckers like this son of a bitch even have subs? Like, Jesus H. Christ. Seriously, Simon, I hope you die in Minecraft. But either way, with all that said, everybody, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below what you thought of it, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys next time in the backseat. Take care.